Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. So, welcome to class once again. Today, we're going to start a poem called Wind. Wind, as we know, is a natural phenomenon, but the poet has used the destructive forces of wind and linked it to the adversities of our life. If a man can overcome the adversities of life, he is regarded to be strong both mentally and physically. And in fact, wind, that is a destructive force, would become a part of his life and would be friends, would no longer distract or destroy him. Whereas on the other hand, if a weak person cannot surpass his troubled times or cannot, deal with his problems, wind will crumble him, destroy him, and separate him from the strong people. This poem is a really beautiful poem with a more strong, it's a stronger message. And I think the poet has dealt with the poem in a very beautiful way, depicting it with symbolic representation, at the same time having all the poetic devices. So let's now go to the poem. Wind by Subramania Bharati, translated from Tamil by A.K. Ramanujam. Wind is a symbol of destruction. Central idea or theme of the poem. The poem inspires us to face the challenges and hardships with courage, grit, and firm determination. Wind is a symbol of problems and obstacles which are to be dealt without fear. We must be friends with the wind, that are the obstacles, to cope with hard situations. So, the poem as a symbol to challenges of life. You might be having problems, failures, but you need to face with courage and fearlessness. The poem has 23 lines with no rhyme scheme. It has got all the poetic devices, personification, alliteration, metaphor, symbolism you need to find out in the poem. Wind. Wind comes softly. In the first line, the poet asks the wind to come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. He then asks the wind not to break the shutters of the windows because the shutters are a kind of protections against the bad weather outside. Don't scatter the papers, don't throw down the books on the shelf. Being a writer, he did not want his books and papers to be thrown out of their shelf and get disorganized. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages off the books. But the wind had thrown all the books down, and the wind was so strong that it even not only threw the books down, but also torn away all the pages of the books. You brought rain again. The poet was not only indicating what are the things happening inside his house, but also outside. The wind has also brought along rain with it. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. In this line, the poet is trying to personify the wind, referring it as a cunning person and harmful person, making fun of weak people. Frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, and crumbling herds. So the wind does a lot of destruction, crumbling everything it crosses over. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. Now, in these lines, the word winnows refers to the process of winnowing, like the grain is separated from the husk. Similarly, the wind god also separates the weak people from the stronger one, crumbling them. So he repeats the word crumbling. It is a repetition that is used by the poet here. He won't do what you tell him. So, come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. In these lines, the poet has now stopped talking to the wind, but instead he is now talking to the readers, appealing the readers to now be strong and build a strong home so that no storm or wind can penetrate and destroy or destruct them. So he is in a way now understood that wind would not be listening to anybody, would do whatever it likes. Practice to form the body. Make the heart steadfast. Do this, and the wind will be friends with us. In these lines, the poet outlines some other ways in which his readers can protect themselves from the wind. The readers can make themselves physically and mentally strong to fight against the wind. Here, I like to remind you all that the wind is a symbol of destruction. It is symbolically representing the obstacles of our life, the problems of our life. So, in order to cope with the problems, we need to be both physically and mentally strong. Do this, and the wind will be friends with us. And this is how we can make friends with the wind, by being strong both mentally and physically. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. In these lines, the poet talks about how the wind can be good and bad at the same time. Bad when the wind can blow out a weak fire, but the same wind can make a strong fire more stronger. This indicates that the wind can only make friends with strong people, but it will crumble the weak people. He not only accepts the friendship of the wind, but also acknowledges that it would really help him to increase his strength and make his life more meaningful and strong. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. In the last lines, the poet is seen to address the wind in a very different tone. He also appeals to all to sing songs of praise to the wind god and make him a part of our. To make winds a part of our life? Yes, to make winds our friends. Wind, as we know, is a symbol of destruction in the poem. Destruction here refers to the adversities of our life. If an individual can overcome the adversities of life strongly, he would emerge strong and would never be outwitted or crumbled by any destructive forces. So he would become a strong individual. So that's a beautiful message in the poem. I hope you read the poem and go through different materials and try to find out all the poetic devices in the poem. Thank you. So children, try to complete this exercise that I am giving you all. Try to do it and complete it and submit your assignment in the class.